There, now I should be getting mic. Sorry about the quiet at the beginning. Now you can hear me. I always get one button or another not completed. Anyway, when we left off last time, the party brought Vlad's body back to Vallaki, hoping Father Petrovich could return him to life, which he did. Irina watched on sadly, since she was rather fond of Vlad. The ceremony seemed to go pretty much without a hitch, but after he was brought back to life, it became rather clear quickly that he was not himself. He believed he was Sergei, Strahd's brother. And after questioning him and a few things, it looks like Father Petrovich actually managed to pull the soul of Sergei, which apparently was one and the same of Vlad's shared soul, managed to pull it back from where it was, and he was the one who came back instead of Vlad. It didn't take very long before him talking to Irina, he pulled Tatiana's soul out of her, and the two of them were remembering things that they had forgotten long ago. Now this caused a bit of panic among the party, because if Strahd finds out that his brother is alive and well and living again with Tatiana, I don't think he's going to be very pleased. It's not the kind of thing that he likes very much. So they convinced him and Irina to play the part of Vlad and Irina for a while so that they could keep under wraps the fact that Sergei was back around. So this was where we left off, was they had gone into the orphanage after the resurrection, and the party had gone to the Blue Water Inn to rest in their rooms when we take up tonight. Now, the party would have gotten up quite early in the morning because they're hoping to avoid villagers noticing that they're leaving. Obviously, there are almost certain to be spies among the villagers, and they want to leave without a lot of fanfare. So they get up quite early in the morning. They find a lantern burning on the table. Someone has gotten up before them and lit a lantern in the inn when they arrive. And as you sit at the table eating some leftover food and whatnot that had been left out for you for breakfast, you notice a rather dark figure lurking over in the corner at one of the tables. And with that, I will throw it over to the party. What do you want to discuss?
Let's not all speak at once, guys.
Otis is busy
eating. He's just staring at his food eating.
Yeah, he had a pretty big shock when his cohort that he'd been with so long died and wound up
and he seems fairly like just 1,000 yards there.
I'm gonna keep an eye on the mysterious figure, I suppose. The one who's here but not with us.
He seems to be keeping a distance, doesn't seem to be encroaching on your eating or your privacy at the moment, and he would probably not be in the dark if it were not that it's before sunrise and you can't see past the light of the lantern very well, but he is in the farther reaches of the tables in the tavern.
Victor dabs at his mouth with a napkin, like covertly removing a little bit of steak that he's already sucked the blood out. And he says, we should get going soon. We should make the most of what paltry daylight we can.
Are the rest of you getting up, or you have anything to discuss?
My paranoia is on all high since yesterday, so Sylvia's going to flick dancing lights at that corner where that person is. She wants to see who that is before she says anything.
The dancing lights go over into the corner, and you see, with a kind of a sad smile, the face of Father Petrovich.
Man, you really can't do that to us. Is everything okay?
He stands up and walks across the room to you. I wanted to leave you to your privacy and your communication, but I wanted to be sure I was here before you left. Please come to the steps of the church and let me place a blessing on you before you go.
All right.
Yeah, she's gonna just glance out a window. Give me a few minutes. I have to go prepare. And with that, Sylvia's just going to dart back upstairs since leaving seems a lot sooner than she realized.
What kind of blessing did you have in mind exactly?
Oh, well, a blessing of Lathander, of course. Do not worry, my friend, and he kind of smirks at you. I will not place any harmful light spells upon you.
You just hear POTUS's fork just hit an empty plate.
All right then.
Hippolytus, my friend, should I do a blessing of spirit upon you? You look as if this has been very hard on you.
He is tired.
As are we all, but he looks like he is injured of soul.
We don't have time. Let's just go.
As you wish. And he just turns and walks out and heads down the street towards St. Andrew's.
Victor will kind of usher a POTUS in that general direction.
I'll follow suit. Make sure I have Senzor with me.
I don't want it.
You don't want the blessing? He says over his shoulder. That is a shame. It will strengthen your spirit for the fight ahead.
Oops.
Will it help me kill him? Or is it just some other wavy crap?
You're starting to sound like Dirok instead now.
The father looks at you one more time very sadly and then walks on ahead. Is Sylvia catching up with them?
After about a minute or two, she's following after the group. Dressed very differently today. She is dressed to the nines in the most fanciest garb she has, which is basically this like ruffled billowed coat with the accoutrements of a true bard.
Is Mikhail there?
Yes. As you come to the orphanage, you find just about everybody you trust to a reasonable degree there. It is clear that they have all been up early and staying ahead of you so they could wish you well as they left. Mikhail is there. Both of the Martikovs are there with their two sons. Father Petrovich, of course, he has both of the altar boys and the two younger siblings of the older boy. There, several of the older children are out on the steps who seem particularly waving and interested in Dirok because he's kind of their favorite person. And Vlad or Sergei, whatever he is calling himself this morning, is on the steps along with Irina. You can see Vlad's
I guess I'll approach first. So yeah, I'll walk up to Father Petrovich.
He lays a hand on your shoulder and another palm on your forehead, and he says, "The blessing of Lathander upon you. May he strengthen you." And you have the bless spell placed upon you for a while.
Thank you. I don't know if your blessings wear after a while, and I bring out the stake that he gave me all the way back from a while ago. It used to be a blessed stake. I don't know if it's still a blessed stake or if he has to re-bless it or not.
He will lay a hand on it and reissue the blessing on the stake.
Thank you, Father. And I'll put that back in my pack and I'll step back.
So you will be able, they have a concentration up to 1 minute, but in this case, his spell is going to last until your first encounter. Special spell that he gives, so you will have the bless spell for until the first encounter.
And what does that entail? Because I don't know what bless is.
Whenever you have a attack or saving throw, you can roll an extra d4 and add that to your attack or save.
Okay.
Who else is going to step up for this?
Victor, with a little bit of hesitation, will step forward.
The father, very carefully, he kind of places his hands next to you, but doesn't actually lay them on you, as if he's trying to keep any pain or any discomfort from you. And he repeats the words very carefully, and he says, "A special blessing for you, my son, that you may find your way out of your predicament." And he also places the bless on you.
Neat.
Are POTUS and Lynn going to go forward?
Yeah, I'll go up and get the blessing.
POTUS starts moving towards Mikhail.
For Lynn, for Sylvia, he says, "You have been in many dark places through your life. I can see it in your eyes. I hope that this journey will find the door to light for you. And you are blessed." Okay, what is POTUS going to talk about with Mikhail?
I don't have anyone else to give this to, but until I return, and he pulls out his sigil, his officer insignia, denoting him as as the leader of the Dawn Watch, and he offers it to Mikhail.
Commander, I would rather, may I just hold it for you? I am sure you are coming back.
It's best if we do it this way. Until I return, you're the commander. If I fall, you're the commander. I don't trust anyone else to look after these people.
I will keep it safe for you, but I am confident that you will return to us.
Good luck, Commander.
He nods. Erwin Mardikov steps forward and holds out his hand to POTUS to shake his hand.
And he reaches down to grip it, probably a little too tightly.
You are surprised, in spite of a bit of age that he's got on you, he still has a surprisingly strong grip. Probably comes from all those arm movements flapping around the kingdom. But he grips your hand back in a very solid grip, and he says, "This is a great service you are doing for us. The the blessings and the good wishes of the Order of the Raven go with you, my friend."
Thank you for everything.
Danica reaches up, because you're quite a bit taller than you. She reaches up quite a bit taller than you are quite a bit taller than she is. Let's get that right. And she reaches up and wraps her arms around your neck and gives you a hug. Both of the boys then reach out and try to give a manly shake as well to you, just like their father.
Despite his usual demeanor, he just totally gives.
Very good. Vlad or Sergey and Tatiana smile at you. The children run when Dirok is finished with his blessing. The children all run to you, Dirok, and start grabbing at you and hugging on you. And you hear voices saying, "Please come back to us. Be safe, please."
Don't worry, little ones, I will.
And Vlad and Irina walk slowly down the steps, and they say, "Although our memories are confused, we know that all of you are good friends of ours. We have heard much of our journey, and thank you, Sylvia, for this book." And he lifts up the book that you gave him. "It has helped a lot in understanding what has gone on. I still feel that I must be with you, and there may come a time that fate will direct me towards you, but for now you are right. I must stay here so that my brother is taken by surprise."
Well,
POTUS gets on his horse.
And with that, the group step back. The children have to slightly be pried off of Dirok, as children will, but Father Petrovich and the others smile and pull them away from Dirok, and all their hugging of him. And everybody steps out. Danica waves with a handkerchief and sniffles a little bit as you get on your horses and start out of town. Is there anything you want to do or say before you head out?
Before we go, I let Sangzor rear up in front of the children, and before we go, give them a little bit of show.
They ooh and ah properly as Sangzor bleats and looks very strong and powerful in front of them. They think that he's just wonderful. They all want to grow up and be barbarians with goats.
There's my clan, my tribe.
oh sweet God.
It's gonna be like the Klingon descendants in that one episode of Star Trek. We are the Dirok. Before the gates, before they totally leave, POTUS pauses and he looks back at Vlad Sergey and then just.
Woo!
Someone's being kidnapped.
Truck.
Yeah, it was a loud truck. Did you catch any of what I?
No, it drowned out.
Yay! No. So as right before they round the corner, he looks back once at Vlad and frowns and then turns.
Vlad lifts a hand in greeting and waves to you in a clear indication of thanks and appreciation of what you're doing. And with that, you roll out of town. You notice that Mikhail has pulled the guards from the gate as it leads out eastward out of town. He has been clever enough to realize that he doesn't want a lot of guards noticing that you have left town, so you find no guards on the eastern route as you go out, and it's early and none of the townspeople are on the street yet. So you are able from this point on to leave with a fair amount of quiet. You journey out of town, eastward and around the bend that has become familiar to you because you've been this way to the Bone Grinder before. But this time with only a slight pause as you glance at the ruins of the Bone Grinder, you continue on past to that gate that you came through first. If you remember back to the first days that you were in this realm, you came through a large gate with statues beside it as you entered the realm at all. And then afterwards, when you had come past Barovia village, you later passed through a second gate which was just like it, that was just beyond the road which you now know as the road to Ravenloft Castle. Beyond that Y, there was a second gate which you passed through to head towards Vallaki. And you now come upon that gate, and as you are coming through the forested area, just as the gate is coming into view, you suddenly hear rapid pounding hooves of what sounds like a pair of horses.
I grab my spear to be ready.
POTUS is just ambling along.
It takes a moment in the darkness for it to be clear who is coming, but you very soon hear slight tinkling bells of Vistani horses.
Oh, right. We completely forgot. We need to have someone with us.
Oh, we didn't forget. I mean, I did send out the memos, but
I did forget.
Oh. Good job.
You see two horses approaching. You can see a man and what looks like a rather small woman in the distance. You can't tell who it is yet.
I move Sengzor to be like blocking the path, like in their way, so that I'm facing them by my side, and I call out, "Who's coming? Who is there?"
You hear Argyl's voice. It is I. You did not think that I would miss this, did you? This is my fate. And you hear a young female voice that it takes you just a blink to realize who it is. It is Annabelle. And she says, "It is my fate too, you know, uncle." And the two of them slow to a trot and pull up to the group of you.
How old is Annabelle, or roughly how old she looks like?
She's in young teens. She's probably, just barely 13 or maybe 14.
Okay. Good of you to... Oh, sorry.
She is dressed to the nines. She is dressed in the Vistani version of nobility. She's got all of her coin necklaces on and big bangly earrings with, gold and so forth on it. And she has her hair done up like she's a princess. And she's riding along on the horse like she rules Barovia.
It is good to see that you've come.
We would not miss it, of course. Thank you for sending the message to us so that we knew when to be watching. We were watching the gates of Vallaki, expecting you to leave this morning. We did not know when, but I wanted to be sure I was there. I am glad to be making this journey with you.
Do not presume too much. We're going to meet, not to battle yet.
Oh, but of course, he is the dread lord of Barovia. I will be nothing but honorable to him.
I figured. Just to make sure we're all on the same.
If you screw up our
Idiot.
plan, I'll gut you myself.
Like I said, you're becoming more like Dirok.
He just looks at POTUS straight in the eye and gives him the most arrogant smirk.
POTUS isn't even looking at him.
That's all right. He would smirk at him to the back of his head. The whole group of you ride up to the gates, and the gates, as before, automatically open in front of you as you approach them. And you all ride through until you come to the Y in the road that takes off to Ravenloft Castle. And at the Y, just beyond the gates, you can see waiting for you a huge black carriage and a pair of black horses with blinders on. They are facing the road to Ravenloft and simply standing patiently waiting. All you can see is steam coming out of their nostrils in the cold mountain air. It's very cold this morning.
Ah, looks like our promised ride is here.
Aragorn kicks his horse a bit and rides past you right up to the carriage. He doesn't hesitate, with Annabelle right on his heels. Arabelle, excuse me, not Annabelle. He gets off his horse. He doesn't wait for you or for any okay or instructions from your group. He dismounts from his horse, hands the reins to Aragorn, salutes at her, and she smiles at him almost as if she's giving a noble blessing. She's kind of like, yes, my servant, go ahead and do this for me. And he turns, and the door automatically sweeps open of the carriage all by itself, and he climbs into the carriage, not waiting for your okay. Arabelle, meanwhile, goes back to the back, just watching the carriage to see what will happen.
Darn. Here I was hoping something was going to happen.
They may be willing to trust it, but I won't. I will keep riding.
Do you wish me to take the reins of your horses back and take them back to Vallaki? I will give them to the guards.
You're not joining us.
No, I will allow my uncle the pleasure of the discussions with the Dreadlord.
It'll be a long ride back, and it could be an unpleasant road. Do you have anything to defend yourself with?
She'll have Zatra, and POTUS dismounts. Keep an eye on her, make sure everybody gets back, and then you're Mikhail's until I get back.
The horse kind of snorts at you.
And he climbs in.
In that case, I'll just ride Sangzor up to the side of the carriage, but I'm not going inside. I'm staying on Sangzor.
Very good. Sylvia?
POTUS sits in, makes the carriage lurch a bit. Hey.
I'm gonna debate for a minute and then offer the reins to Sylvia's horse to Durak.
To me?
Yeah, she wants you to guide her horse. Well, if you're gonna be on the outside.
Okay. I'll take the reins, I guess.
Victor?
Victor wants to keep an eye on his donkey. It's a dear companion.
No, it's a donkey companion. No, it's a donkey companion.
I was gonna say something else, but like part of me is just like, I don't know if I should.
I'm sorry, I'm an ass man.
Hey, that donkey has survived this whole thing. That donkey.
Arabelle just nods as she sees that you won't be giving her the horses. She takes Aragol's horse, and of course Zatra is heading back towards the village, so Zatra will follow her, but on its own. It's not being led by her. But she just turns as she realizes that you are not going to give her the horses, and shrugs and heads off on her own. She doesn't have any qualms with taking off. All right, so POTUS is aboard the carriage. Aragol is aboard the carriage. Dirok is leading Sylvia's horse. Sylvia is aboard the carriage. And Victor's in his cart. When the DM smiles, it's already too late.
I'm going to keep shooting a message to Duroc and Victor, just reminding them both, like, just whatever happens, let's do our best to remain calm and hope this glory hog doesn't screw things up. Gotta love the cantrip for message.
Who is saying that?
It's Sylvia. Just relax.
But she's in the cart. I can hear her as if she's right up to me.
It's magic.
Goober.
You never
really
did
hope
that to me before.
I
That's
really hope that.
No, I thought I did. I thought I had.
I don't think you did.
I'm just imagining Sylvia sitting there just going, "You goober."
Okay, let me get a couple of things moved over to the next visual here.
I think in her case it would be more like, oh my god, orcs.
Hey! Just because you're right doesn't mean you say it.
Fine.
That's
You know what? She's
racist.
gonna say it in your freaking language, man. I don't know that one of the only languages that girl knows is like Elvish, Common, and Orc.
All right, I'm not in the right place, but I at least have the various players on the screen. Let's see, I haven't missed anything, I don't think, so we will see what we have to see. You wind through the forest until you come out above the tree line. You climb and climb. The road is very steep, although there are quite a few remnants of cobblestone and flagstones, indicating that one time in the distant past this road was well kept and well traveled, was a highway kind of thing, although it's being overgrown a bit by thistles and stuff as you journey. You finally weave through this S-curving road as you climb back and forth on the switchbacks up to the castle. You go through a grove of trees and you come out on a precipice that is above an enormous chasm that stretches to unknown depths below you. It is obviously like at least 1,000 feet below you. You've climbed a very long way. And stretching across the precipice, between the precipice and the castle, is a bridge with chains on it going up to the castle, clearly a drawbridge. As those of you who either crane your neck outside the carriage or those of you who are riding on the outside are able to tell, the bridge is quite old. The cement or stonework types of sections are starting to show the wear of weather and years, and the bridge itself looks pretty rickety. It has holes in it, and some of the boards, as the horses begin to step out onto the bridge and go across, they were trotting very quickly up as they were going up the mountain, traveling quite quickly. When they came to the bridge, they slowed down and are stepping very carefully across the bridge, and the wheels are rickety as they go across these old wooden planks of the bridge. The horses step very carefully but continue to proceed across the bridge without stopping. Just a second.
That's for our weights, didn't you?
I'm going to die because of you fat asses. I know it.
Well, if we were all in the carriage would probably weigh like a ton.
Poor horses would just snap their legs trying to move.
Okay, we've got Victor in a cart.
Okay,
The
hate this picture.
horse.
Victor eyes this, still having some remaining bridge trauma from a previous incident. He tries to think really hard. Sylvia, is that spell still working?
I'll carefully poke my head out and go, yeah. Why?
Oh, good. Do you have some levitation spell or something handy just in case?
Yeah, I think I can manage something. Just don't fall.
Well, that is great advice. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about my ass.
He's not worried about falling. It's the stopping at the end he's worried about.
Well,
This is a cover my ass policy.
Can't you become like, a big bird?
He's worried about his coffin.
Yeah,
Let me just bite my donkey here so that he can also get these convenient abilities. Let's try that.
Okay. Did he forget at some point that I thought he was a druid. I thought he did druid things. Wasn't
Victor sighs in frustration. He's gonna stop before the bridge. He's gonna unhook his donkey from the cart and let the donkey cross separately. Then he will pull the cart himself.
I think he's more worried about nothing.
The donkey trots across behind the horses without any difficulty.
All right. Victor, on high alert, is going to start pulling the cart. Just being ready to.
Can you even pull the cart? Are you even strong enough to pull the cart?
I don't know.
I mean, he's a vampire. He does have.
Well, how much does the cart weigh?
I've got 16 strength, and it's currently got just the coffin and no other major cargo I can think of.
Probably, yeah, because you got like a 2 something.
Give me an estimation of how much the cart and coffin weighs.
Meanwhile, I'm behind the cart and I'm just watching this amused.
I'm going to call upon Google here. How much does a coffin weigh?
I think they actually have. I think you can just go like crate and cart. I think the cart is actually.
Yeah, coffins weigh about 200 pounds.
But are we looking at a modern day coffin, or what we would consider be a medieval?
Half of that for a pine box.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I have that. I have that coffin that I fixed up from.
Oh, that fancy one from the sarcophagus thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
you repurposed the sarcophagus, made into a cabinet, back into a sarcophagus.
Oh my god, he's gonna doom himself, I swear to god.
Let's see. Let's see. How much normally it tells you how much carts can carry,
A
not how
cart
much
is
they weigh.
a cart is 200 pounds. It's on page 157 of the player's
Okay,
handbook.
there we go. So about 400 pounds.
Plus your weight, which was...
I think like 328.
Pardon the disappearance of their pictures for a moment, people. I need to look at something. You're gonna drop it yourself. Your total weight was 328.
Yep.
Plus 400 pounds on the cart.
It should weigh less than a POTUS on the horse cart, but I wouldn't be surprised.
The carriages are like the carriage would be 600 pounds. So. Oh no! What if the carriage was enchanted?
That's what I'm concerned about. But Victor is on high alert. He's ready to wild shape if he needs to.
We're just gonna see. One.
She's humming. This is
Oh
bad.
no! She's doing calculations. This isn't good. It's been nice knowing you, Victor. We're not going after your coffin.
Ripperoni boy.
All right, let me place things where they are at the moment here properly.
The cart's at the bottom. I'm really glad that the war wagon was the last campaign, not this campaign. just throwing that out there.
The donkey has made it across. Let's shrink him down just a bit.
Hey, your ass.
The donkey made it across. Victor, pulling the cart, feels a loud crack underfoot and boards split open. And
Victor wild shapes into a giant octopus.
Your first instinct is giant octopus.
Giant octopus.
With that, you may give me a Dex 10 save with advantage.
All right.
Oh my god.
How much does a giant octopus weigh?
I mean,
I don't know, but it's got tentacles and it can swim.
it's.
Boy, you're falling from a bridge. What's swimming gonna do?
Oh no!
I'm assuming not a
However-
whole lot.
Roll a d4. You have been blessed.
All right. Ah,
Okay.
yeah.
They're about.
Way to go! Way to go, Lathander.
Most of the gooey section of the octopus dangles beneath the bridge, but with one final heave, he throws another tentacle out and manages to grab the sides of the bridge and haul himself back up onto it. There is now a gaping hole in the bridge, but Victor is on the safe side of the bridge. His wagon, however, was not so successsul.
I caught the coffin though. That was the whole point of the octopus.
Oh my god.
So he heaves the coffin minus his cart up onto the bridge. Dirok, you now have to cross with a horse, a goat, and yourself.
Well, the goat can definitely manage.
The
no
goat,
problem.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the goat can definitely manage
The
if he's able
gonna
to
teleport across.
if he's able to climb up steep mountain faces and go down and whatnot. I'm pretty sure he can leap across pretty.
Yes, our true enemy, bridges.
I'm
The
just
horse,
going
on the other hand, so like, how big is this hole?
It's large enough that Victor's cart fell through it.
Well, I don't know how big Victor's cart is.
Probably 8 feet long.
Which
maybe.
piece?
Yeah, it's in pieces now, but it's probably, 8 feet long? Or would it be 6 or 8 feet long?
Something like that. But Octo Victor just runs a tentacle lovingly over his coffin. He worked very hard on this thing.
Basically, the cart tipped and went down this way. So it would be a hole probably 4 feet wide and maybe 4 feet square. There is room to get around it on either side. but the bridge is clearly very weakened.
All right. I'll start making my way forward carefully. I'll be in front, and I'll have the horse like behind, going in line, so we're not side by side.
Okay, so it'll be like differing weights.
Yep.
Let me give a quick roll here because with Sangzor you will have. Oh yeah, Sangzor makes it very handily without any problem at all, and he crosses to the other side. The horse, however,
I am gonna start leaning out the window of the carriage.
Everything all right?
the horse kind of snorts and his eyes get bugged out and he kind of looks at the hole in the depths going down and but he manages to step around the hole and make it.
Yeah, if he was doing that, I would have like got off Sangzor to like go to the side to like try to assure the horse, hey, it's all right, we can go through. And then I'll remount Sangzor and continue onward.
I'll sneak out a sugar cube from inside my sleeve and be like, "Look, it's okay. Come here. I'll give you the cube."
I am so glad that I left Zatra.
We would have just made it no problem.
Well, Zatra's intelligent.
No, I'm talking about like the weight of us together. Just
oh yeah, because it's a war horse, not a regular
war horse with barding with leather armor on it, and a POTUS in full armor would have weighed like 700 pounds.
The group of you follow the carriage up, cross the gate, through past the guardhouses. As you cross under this, there are 2 sets of double guardhouses. And you notice that there is a portcullis that is open on the inwardmost one of the things. You can also, as you look back, when you notice the portcullis in front of you, you look back and you realize there also is one behind you, although it was harder to see as you came up on it. This probably would have been a murder hole situation back in the days when the castle was being defended. So you do realize that there's a double set of portcullises here. And there is structure and so forth above the whole guard area entry. It's a solid roof in between the 2 sets of guard towers. So it's all solid above you. And you pull up in front of the castle itself, towers above you. You can see lights in some of the rooms. It just towers up into the clouds, and as you cross the bridge, these heavy, heavy dark clouds that were building larger and larger as you journeyed up the mountain break open into a cold, biting wind and rain that just pours down on the area. There is a semicircular area in front of the main floor of the castle with the entry doors that go in. Clearly was a protected carriage area where carriages could go in and the riders, the nobles or whatever, could get out of their carriages with something over their head. Part of the castle actually extends over your head. The second floor comes out to protect it. So when the carriage comes in and the group of you come in, you're out of the rain. You can see it pouring outside, but you are actually in a protected area underneath. And once again, the carriage doors just open quietly of their own accord, and the horses stand there snorting and kind of pawing at the ground, waiting to see what you are going to do. As you rode up, you could tell you came in across a bridge that goes to the east. The castle then is this big block, and the courtyard that you came into extends around the castle to the north and also extends around the castle to the south. So you basically have 3 options at this point. You can go in the main entry doors. The outer pair of entry doors stand open as if they are waiting for you, welcoming you. You can also go around the building to the north, or you can go around the building to the south. Aragorn gets out of the carriage. What are you going to do?
Otis gets out and offers to help Sylvia if she wants it. Playing the whole, like, we're going to a dinner party. We've been invited thing.
Octo Victor slithers along, just radiating anger, simultaneously carrying his coffin and crossing his tentacles in front of him.
Thud!
He's like the angry octopus from Finding Nemo too.
First thing we're talking about in this meeting is infrastructure investment.
I'm just gonna look at Octo Victor and be like, you could have left it home.
Were you planning on staying the night?
I have to.
He's an octopus, so all he can say back is...
Yeah, Victor just kind of clacks his beak at them.
I can imagine that if he wanted to borrow a casket, he'd probably find one. Of course, it wouldn't have his dirt in it, but you know.
This is my dirt. This is magic dirt.
No, see, here's what you do. You take the dirt out, put it in a bag, find a different coffin, put the dirt in.
Which is not the same.
Never the same when you don't sleep in your own bed. You know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Aragorn has his arms crossed and is standing on the steps leading up to the entry doors and is just looking at this crew like he cannot believe what he has been burdened with. He just has this look of, is this what I've been given?
It's this ragtag group that's been doing all the heavy lifting, so yes.
Sergey showed up.
Huh?
I'm still on.
Oh, yeah, I had him. Mike said that he was going to be here. I forgot I had him on this. Yeah. He is no longer there.
I'm still on Sangzor. Going up to the door.
Yeah, I'm just not going to drag everything up. But yeah, you're on Sangzor and leading Sylvia's horse. And
well, I would have brought the horse over by the carriage or wherever there's a stable, but I'm still on Sangzor.
Well, the stables aren't here, although if all of you get out, the horses will start moving around to the north of the castle, so you can assume there are stables around that side. Okay, people, tell me what you're doing, please.
I'm getting a bag off of my horse and keeping it with me. It's a heavy leather bag that's gonna keep whatever contents inside of it dry.
Very good. And you are out of the carriage. Aragorn's out and Apotis is out. So everybody is not the horse. The horses and their carriage snort a bit, prance a little bit, and head off to the north side of the castle.
Before we go in, who's holding the Amulet of Ravenkind? Because that's like the one artifact we have that doesn't have like a place. Because I don't think any of us can actually like use it, but I've just been assuming
Aragorn, although Sealy says, "Oh, I'll hold it."
You know, I'll just wear it, I guess, until.
Yeah, we'll give it. Yeah, we'll give it to D-Rock.
Very good.
D-Rock has bling now.
Yeah. Aragorn turns and heads into the castle. It's clear he has been here before. He seems completely at home as he turns and walks through the doors. Are the rest of you following him or going in another way?
Just going in, we're expected.
I'm going in on Sangzor.
Are you sure you should be bringing him?
Wherever I go, Sangzor goes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. That's all.
I should probably ask, is the door high enough for me to go through mounted on Sangzor? Because I didn't get off.
If you bend down over the neck a bit, yes. It's
Okay.
not built intended for horses to come in kind of thing, but yes, you can get through
Oh
the
yeah,
door.
no, I am totally going to do this Tywin Lannister style.
You enter a vestibule area. You can see like racks designed to hold cloaks and the like. The room is reasonably decorative. It is not unattractive. It is, however, somewhat dusty. It has not been well cared for. There are some cabinets for cloaks. There are some settees and various things placed in this area, somewhat welcoming for any visitors that would come. Give me a perception roll, anyone who wishes to look around this area. The area is about 20 feet by 20 feet, and its ceiling is about 10 feet high.
You're going to invite us and then make us wait.
No.
I think the poor state of his home is like a hint that Strahd is actually depressed.
It's in here that I'll actually dismount off of Sangzor.
Anybody else?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
He'll be inside where it's nice and warm, as opposed to rainy.
Victor has a
and wet.
keen eye for fellow vampiric layers.
No. Let's not be too critical of
The
our host.
Riz or Victor and Dirok both spend more time looking around. Apotus in his bunk that he's in just stares ahead at the closed doors ahead of you and just waits for whatever's going on. But the other two look up and notice that about 8 feet up, just a couple feet below the 10-foot ceiling, there's like a book rail or whatever it's called at the top, a very large one. And in each corner of this rail, decorative rail with Baroque-ish looking carvings and things on it, you can see what looks like a reddish bronze colored dragon statue, metallic dragon statue that is sitting in each one of the corners. It is small, only maybe 2 feet high, each of them, but there are 4 of them. They have their wings raised in a very dragon-like pose. Each of them is in a slightly different pose, but there are these carved dragon statues at each of the corners. The doors ahead of you are closed. There is no other sound. What is Dirok going to do with the goat? Is he going to continue on into the palace with the goat, or is he going to dismount?
No, I did say I dismounted. Let the goat have free reign.
Okay, so the goat is able to wander around outside in search of some weeds growing between the flagstones in hope of finding something to eat.
Well, no, the goat's inside.
Okay, well,
I did walk in.
The doors are open. The goat would be able to wander out. Do you want to close the doors behind you?
Oh no, we'll leave him open if he wants to come back in.
He just wanders out slowly without seeming to run away. Just looks like first thing you see him do is he finds some weeds growing between some flagstones and yanks on it and stands there munching happily. All right, you are now in this 20-foot by 20-foot room with a pair of double doors that are carved very fancy, big, heavy, looking like almost teak doors, very elaborate mahogany or teak, with bas-relief carvings on the front of it of noble pictures charging into battle with servants or soldiers behind them with blaring trumpets and banners streaming out behind them, a typical overdone Baroque war scene sort of thing.
Interesting decorum.
Strahd's home is very Baroque. You should take better care of the place.
The bridge is especially Baroque.
I guess at some point, Victor would turn back to his normal form and set his coffin and then make that comment.
Are you going to continue to drag the coffin with you or leave it in this vestibule?
I'm going to use this room for it for the moment.
All right. The doors await you. Are you going to try them? Nobody is greeting you or welcoming you.
Well then,
Yep.
shall we knock?
I just push the doors open.
You step into a room. Let's see how big it is. Okay, this room is about 20 feet long by 20 feet wide. It is octagonal, and there is an identical set of double doors on the far end of this octagon. And in between, there are 4 pillars holding up a vaulted, a square vaulting on this octagon that vaults up to a point in this, very decorative. There are frescoes painted on the ceiling, again of various dramatic things and of the kind of overdone things that you might expect in a castle, of the gods blessing upon a king or these kinds of things. Fair maidens who are welcoming the soldiers through the gates, waving at them, and all kinds of dramatic fresco scenes. On each of the 8 corners, there are again statues. These look like small stone gargoyles.
I eye them warily.
I'm just gonna keep up the mantra. We're guests. We are guests. We are guests.
Dirok, what's your HP at?
You're asking the character?
Yeah, like your total HP.
149.
Okay, Epodus is going to cast Aid at 4th level and give himself, Sylvia, and Victor 15 extra max HP.
Oh, none for me. Poor old me with the lowest amount of health out of all of you.
Are you kidding me?
Just, I feel like we're gonna need that extra HP.
No, I get it.
So 15 temporary hit points?
Yes. No, 15 like actual max hit points.
Okay.
So your hit point max has been increased by 15.
We had this problem before.
Sorry, but it's the best spell I got. It's the best, longest lasting buff spell I got.
You're good. So I got 75 HP.
Now, these pictures are not identical to what you're seeing, so you have to pay attention to my descriptions. These are just to give you a kind of feeling for the impression the hall gives you. Again, this is an octagonal room with only 4 pillars, spaced like a square, holding up the vaulting of the ceiling. And to the north of you, you are facing east towards an identical set of double doors. To the north of you, or your left, there is a decorative staircase that disappears up into the shadows of the palace. And to the south, there is a wide, 10-foot wide hallway. Is it 10 or 20? No, it's 10-foot wide hallway main hallway that goes to the south. The stairs are equally wide. They are a broad, grand staircase that goes up. And coming down this grand staircase with a slow, measured step is a dusk elf. And I need his stats here. Just a moment. As I have to have, I believe it's a 20-foot radius. Okay. He walks down the staircase and says to you, he can a couple of you are inside the doors, and he acts completely as if he's not at all surprised you're here. He says, "Good evening. The master is expecting you."
Yeah, Sylvia.
Sorry, I was just studying everything. Uh, is there a place that we may freshen up before meeting our most gracious host, or are we to meet him now?
He was planning on meeting with you now. He has a dinner prepared for you. I know it is early for you, but it is actually his dinner time.
Perfect. Lead on, please.
Victor tries to pretend he's not salivating.
We're just gonna walk in and Monarch's destroyed body's gonna be on the table, isn't it?
Don't say that. No.
You hush your mouth.
Okay, 1 second. I have, to explain to people, I have a second set of maps up which I'm using to keep track of just exactly where they are and what is going on. As this gentleman leads the way south into the broad hall that goes southerly, Aragorn hangs back just a bit. He waits to see what the rest of you are doing. Are the rest of you going to be following the elf?
Yes.
All right. You step inside the octagon area, I suppose. He's come down into the center of the octagon from the stairs on the north, and he's starting to move past you to the south. And you're going to step behind him and move with him?
Follow him a respectable distance.
I stand
Walk
where
this
I am.
way.
If he has to move around me, then I let him move around me.
There's quite a bit of room. I mean, the octagon's 20 feet across the flats, so it's quite large. As each of you step inside this octagon and a little closer to this gentleman, I would like each of you to give me a DC 16 wisdom save.
Far for nougat.
Y'all get my benefit.
Just
Saving throw?
no luck.
You said
And if you
wisdom
got-
saving throw?
Yep. And if you
Okay.
got the benefit, and if you got the bless, don't forget to add 5.
I get to add
Man.
6 because of my stone.
So.
So 1d4 from the bless and 5 from you.
Yes.
It looks like I might need it here. So
Aha!
18, I guess, from me.
That 18 is a 23. No,
Yeah, for
24. Because it's plus 5 from
So you need
opponents,
it-
and I have a
you
plus.
needed a 16. All of you have made it with the pluses.
Okay.
Woohoo!
As you step into the room and closer to him, you get what is, in effect, a psychic body odor effect. This gentleman has surrounding him a sound that your ears do not hear, but your soul hears. That sounds like thousands of people screaming in the distance. But all of you have resisted the psychic effect of being this close to him without any effect. He doesn't blink. He moves on past you and heads down the southern hall towards a pair of double doors that are in that hall. Are you continuing to follow him? Aragorn comes in behind him. You notice that he follows at a bit of a distance. He's apparently encountered this man before.
Could you turn that off? It seems a little bit rude.
Turn what off?
You've got a bit of it's kind of like a smell, but not. It's not just me, right? You guys, you all are picking up on that.
Don't be rude, Victor.
What? Are you serious right now? Are you even the poetess? Ugh. There really are changelings.
Oh my god, not you too.
The elf just sticks his nose in the air and he says, "My aura is mine. Take it or leave it."
Wait, take it or leave it.
In other words, he's not going to do anything about it.
Oh, I thought he was trying to like tell us to like accept the aura
Well,
and like
accept it or leave. He's not going to do a thing about it.
How dare you judge me by my body odor?
All right, so you proceed down the hallway, and I'll describe a little bit of what you are seeing at this point. As you come to the end of the hallway, you see a corridor that leads off again to the east. This corridor is only 10 feet wide, disappears to what looks like a staircase at the end of it that goes both up and down, a circular staircase.
Victor gradually falls back as they walk until he's at the same distance as like Eric.
Right.
And he just mumbles like, "This guy, huh?"
Aragorn just kind of nods at you like, "Yeah, I know." The elf comes to stop before a pair of double doors that are opposite this hallway that went off to the stairs. He stops before another ornate carved pair of double doors, and he swings open the doors. The doors open towards the west, so you've come down south and are now heading towards the west. This area. So you are behind, and he is standing there like a doorman motioning into the thing. You will have to walk through his aura again and hear this, but again, you have psychically resisted any effect that it might cause you. And he is motioning for you to enter into this room, whatever it is.
Victor will go ahead.
I carefully peer into the room and then enter, I suppose.
You enter into a very attractive dining room. There are alcoves on each side that have various decorative hangings. There are sconces on the wall of very finely carved brass holding candles in them. And on this table, which will seat 10, there is an enormous feast, just a luscious feast. That you will also notice there are raw meats as well, Victor, and you will notice that there are pitchers and decanters of red wine and other liquids on the table. All of them are red. There is also a cooked boar in the middle of the table with an apple in its mouth, very fancily prepared. There are luscious colanders of cooked vegetables and sweetmeats and desserts and all kinds of things rising off the table. The scent is absolutely glorious. It's better food than you've had in a very long time.
I have a question. About how much does this table look like the table we saw in our dream fight thing?
Identical.
Then I am very wary of the table. And I keep my ground.
As you round the corner of the doors, organ music begins to swell out of the room.
I think something's been turned
you hit
on.
the wrong sound there, because we're getting.
I hear birds chirping.
That's from. I'm sorry. That's from my end. There are not birds outside.
Okay. I thought
no,
it just came up right at the perfect time.
Yeah,
I'm like, I think that's not organ music.
Nope, that's.
I can't. Roll20 has completely destroyed its music and things, and it's impossible to get it up. It no longer functions like it used to. So you're going to have to imagine this is the typical organ music that the evil vampire is supposed to be playing at the organ when you step into his castle. If anybody can bring up that fugue that is so well known to be played, I can't think of the name of the fugue.
I'm kind of just picturing the same song that what's his name from Pirates played in the second movie, Davy Jones, because he has a organ himself in his ship.
Those of you who have actually stepped into the doors where you can see into the room actually can see a figure with his back to you, seated at an enormous full wall organ, pipe organ, fills the entire western wall of this dining room. Someone is playing the organ.
Inside the room?
Correct. He's providing dinner music for you.
I just stand my ground. I don't go anywhere near the table or the guy.
The elf looks quite bored, as if he's used to having to stand a great length of time before guests step in, and he just rolls his eyes, and finally he looks at Aragorn with a look like, and you? Are you going to stand out here too, kind of look.
Oh no, I thought I was inside.
No,
I'm inside the room.
You're at the door. Looking.
No, I would have been. I'd be inside the room, but I'm standing my ground. I'm not making a move towards the table or the person at the.
I did not get the message that everybody was in the room. Aragorn finally shrugs, walks past the elf and into the room, pulls out a chair on the side of the table, and sits down, and with absolutely no preamble begins to fill his plate with heaping mounds of the food.
Just as a heads up, Apo may have crashed on us.
Yeah, it's possible. I see that he's frozen in the same position. So let's wait and see if he needs to restart either Discord or the game. He might have to completely restart. It's just you and me, Dirok. Yeah. He's died! Somebody revive him! We will wait for him to return. And meanwhile, while he is doing that, we will get a new picture. I am running out of room for my pictures. There it is. We are waiting on Epotus to return from Neverland. And hoping that his computer did not crash.
Have you tried turning it on, off and on again?
Have you toggled the switch?
Yeah. Did I tell you the story about when my husband was working at a tech thing for Micron and the call that they got about the woman who said that the computer wasn't working? She was very upset. She called Micron and said, your computer isn't working, and the tech went through all these things and do this, and they tried all kinds of things, and finally he said, well, he says, turn it off and on, and apparently she did, and he says, well, let's try actually unplugging it from the wall and plugging it back in, and she said, I can't do that, and he said, why not? And she says, well, I can't see down there to see where the plug is, and he said, well, turn on some lights. She says, I can't. Why not? Well, the power is off. And his jaw fell, and he, tried to think of what to say for a moment. And finally, he said, we'll have to wait for the power to get back on. Well, can you fix it? I don't think so. I think you'll have to ship it back to the company. The guy got in a lot of trouble, by the way. You'll have to ship it back to the company. And she said, what should I tell them? And I'm trying to think what he told her. He told her something about, he subtly said, I'll just say it straight out, but his words were very subtle. Basically, more or less told her to write that it was an ID10T error, but he basically said right on it that I'm too stupid to use the computer, but he said it in very couched language, and it got recorded, and he got in a lot of trouble for that. But basically, she was too dumb to operate the computer because she couldn't figure out that when the power was out in the building that the computer wouldn't work. Apple is attempting to restart his computer and get back in the game. We are waiting for him to return.
Please pardon all technical difficulties as we try to reestablish connection.
Meanwhile, Strahd has spirited him away into another section of Barovia just to toy with him. That's why he's disappeared. And a little travel music. I do miss all the music and things. Supposedly you can upload music to it from your own files on Roll20 now, but it doesn't work very well, and I've just given up and I will leave it be. All right, well, Apo is restarting, Epotus is restarting. We will go on a little bit with what the rest of you are doing. What are the rest of you going to do as you see this person playing at the organ?
Like I said, I'm just standing there, not moving to the table, not moving to the person at the organ.
Aragorn is
gonna-
eating.
Yeah, Victor actually seeing some real goddamn food for once is gonna dig in like immediately.
Victor will notice that one of the glass pitchers of wine is, as you move the pitcher out of your way, the red liquid in the wine pitcher is more viscous than wine normally is.
So why don't we all sit down?
Oh, good lord.
We should go ahead and have this conversation, starting with infrastructure investment.
Now, Victor.
You
Let our
hear
gracious
you
host
hear an
finish.
amused chuckle from the organ. You see, Victor, I have many things to offer you.
Sylvia's just going to stand her ground, but also look very proper about her stance, like not trying to be confrontational, but just you know upper class, and then quietly recite, and lo, unto the feast laid before her, Persephone only chose 3 seeds of a pomegranate fruit.
Apo's typing a message.
His internet has decided to kill him.
Hippolytus's misery finally kicked in, and my computer had enough.
Excuse me.
I am still waiting for my computer to get to the point I can click connect. So he's got a computer that is being recalcitrant. He's doing his best to fight his way through it. The music slowly ends and comes to the finale of this dramatic fugue that he's been playing, and he stops, puts his hands in his lap, and then very slowly pivots on the organ bench to face you. And as expected, it is Strahd that is facing you.
So, should I go up and play now, or are we actually going to talk?
I am here to talk with you. I have brought you here to talk. I have a great many things to offer all of you. I can be your greatest benefactor, and yet you choose to be my enemy. What do you wish to speak of? Of the bridge? That is because the peasants will not come and help me when I need help. If you can get them to do it, you would be my Minister of Finances and Affairs, Victor. I would welcome you into the household.
Victor coughs on his blood wine, whatever the hell he's drinking right now, as he's just laughing at this offer. Are you trying to bribe me with politics?
I
I
don't.
thought you had a better mixture of me than that.
You could replace your provider as my right hand, Victor.
Is that what you call that foul sire of mine? My provider?
He gave you powers that have kept you alive when other lesser men would have died in your place. Do you wish to reject the gifts that were given you?
I would have died in my place, where my place means the house he collapsed on top of me. When he attacked me in my own home, he got what he deserved.
He was merely a passing fancy. He is with us no longer. I hold no animosity for this. A powerful minister must sometimes roll heads in order to climb into a more powerful place. And you, Dirac, the children love you. Think of what you could do for them if you had my power at your back. You could provide all the benefits that the children needed: health, food, housing. All you could provide for these children if only you would accept my aid. And you, Hippotas, you could have been my soldier, my right hand of strength and bringing justice to this land, and yet you have rejected. All of you could have been so much more, and still, in spite of all you have done to me, I still lay these gifts in front of you and say, come, join with me, and together we will create a wonderful new future for Barovia.
You put on quite a show and conveniently forget that you drew us here against our will.
I frequently draw those who I find to have certain strengths that could add to the health of my realm.
You've chosen poorly. It is amusing how poorly you did choose.
No. We came to give him a fair listening to, my friends. Did we not?
He's a talker.
You
I
have a
don't care for
point.
talkers.
One thing I will give you, Strahd. This is the first decent meal I have had in a very long time.
Ever since a fisherman, I believe. And he looks at you very straight.
What did he say?
Ever since.
Fisherman.
Yeah, best meal you've had since a fisherman.
Victor thinks on that, taking a minute to realize like what the hell he's talking about. Then he says, I said good meal, not a meal.
While we're talking, Epotus is going to divine sense.
I will say that from a moral standpoint, these people that you have without souls in Barovia are an interesting solution. I am not quite sure how I feel about them, but they are sort of convenient. I assume, or maybe I hope, that is what I am drinking right now.
No, Hippotas.
This doesn't taste like a potus.
Nerds.
You invite us here to eat and enjoy and seek to enlist our aid, and yet you don't bother to show up in front of us yourself. What should we take of that?
He laughs, and there is a look on his face of complete humor. He finds what you said to be very, very funny. And the form disappears.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Fascinating. I'm sensing a breakdown of trust.
Well,
Exactly.
now we
So
lost
help-
somebody else. This time we
Uh-oh.
lost
Rude.
Darok.
So rude.
It would have been so much
He
helpful
grabs
if
Darok by the collar and yanks him out of reality.
Epodus leans over to Sylvia. Just, can you imagine if we all took him up on his offer? I mean, do you think he would have felt bad for not showing up?
All of you that are still in roll 20, I guess he's still in roll 20, but all of you that are still in Discord, give me a perception roll.
Are we gonna? If we get it good enough, we're gonna see his like coattail disappearing into a corridor.
Come on, no whammy big rolls. Ah, that's not too bad.
While you are standing there kind of looking around at the surroundings, Sylvia, you notice, and as a matter of fact, Riz would with his extra additive too. Apodus would not, even with a full roll on it. But the other two have noticed that the floor near the organ has scuff marks on it that are very odd. Scuff marks are only on one side of the organ.
Is that Dusk Elf still in here?
No, he turned and left and headed back towards the stairs.
I got a text from Gore. Guess he has computer problems now.
Okay. With the divine sense, did I pick up anything else within 60 feet?
No,
Any other celestial fiend or anything?
no.
Seems we're alone in the room, at least. Not counting what could be magical sensors, but no one's in here.
Also, can we just talk for like 1 second? Victor, what the hell? I thought we came in
What?
with a plan.
I got kind of distracted by the whole bridge thing and also this meal.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out whether or not he was actually here or what was going on.
No.
What
That
about
was fine.
Victor?
That was fine, but like, come on. Never mind. We'll find him and we'll work this out. He's a gracious host. He hasn't attacked and killed us yet.
How many doors leaving this room are there?
Just the double door that you came in through.
Epodus calls out, Marco! And then he heads towards the doors.
So you're going back towards the double doors?
That's the only option I got, unless somebody else has something. He didn't see the scuff marks.
I'm just gonna gently take him by the arm and motion him towards the organ.
Oh, what?
Over here.
Alright.
Victor stays eating like as long as possible.
Well,
He's still at
He's
the
going to
table.
have problem fitting through narrow spaces by the time he finishes the meal.
What do you think?
Victor's
What do
gonna
you
look
think
like
this
a
is?
tick.
Yeah.
What do you think this is?
Secret entrance. All castles have one.
Alright, Epodus kicks it.
There is a kind of a vroom sound from the pipes of the organ as the organ shudders a bit, but nothing happens.
Ah, boy.
Where's Vlad when you need him?
Oh, who needs Vlad when you have someone who knows music? And I'm going to toy around with the melody to see if I
That's a
can
really
find
good
some.
one.
I'm just gonna toy around trying to remember what he was playing and seeing if any of those keys will open any doors.
So are you actually going to sit at the organ in a position to play?
I was gonna stand up for it unless I have to sit.
All right, if you are just reaching out and playing the keys of the organ, nothing seems to happen. You get music out of it, but nothing else is happening.
I will carefully sit down and go, oh, here we go.
And what are you doing when you sit down?
I'm gonna look to see what pedals might be scuffed below and try again with the keys for the melody.
When you, I'll keep the same perception roll. When you look down at the foot pedals, you know enough about music to realize that there is one more pedal than an organ normally has.
Oh, look. Boop.
And when you push it, the organ swings out towards the room. It is hinged on the right, and the left opens up, and you can see that it gives just enough room for someone to slide behind it.
Well then, shall we? Question mark.
Or just a minute.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Well, far be it from me from taking someone else's place going first, but
All right.
Yeah, POTUS has to shove just a little bit, and probably Victor will have to a little bit too now, because it's just barely enough for a person to slide through, and his stomach is just a little bit stuffed, so he'd have a bit of trouble sliding through when he does. When POTUS steps into the area behind the organ, you are in a room area that's pretty dusty and cobwebby. It doesn't look, there's a couple of footprints leading off to the south in a kind of hallway, but it doesn't look well traveled. It hasn't been used a lot recently. As you step in facing west, you can see an alcove to the north, which seems to go nowhere at all, although you can see an arrow slit or observation hole through a slit to the north. Ahead of you is a kind of narrowing area, a wider area of a room, and at the end of it there are two arrow slit areas that look out clearly on that entrance courtyard where you came up with the carriage. And then a hallway goes about 20 feet to your south and turns a corner to the east. You can't see what lies around the corner.
Well, it seems we have some options. Come on in.
Victor waddles over, turns into a bat for a second to slip through, turns back, and waddles onwards.
Did you just blow both of your wild shapes for this rest?
No, that was my vampire ability. I can do that one as much as I want.
There are two arrow slits in this room, but it gives you kind of the feeling of what you see as you step in. It's a little wider, and there are two arrow slits at the end of it, but it gives you the feeling that there's a wider area you're facing with these openings that you can look out onto the courtyard, and then as it shows there in it, you can turn left and go south down a corridor. The arrow slits to the north look out on that curved hemisphere where the carriage pulled in, so they could actually look down on who was entering the castle itself. Is everybody in there with him?
Yeah, I would have followed in. Sorry.
Okay. So where is Apotus going to go?
Okay, so just to make sure, so there's one thing that goes forward and then curves off, and then what's the other one? There's like arrow slits.
Basically, you are in an upside down T. What you're looking at here in the picture is the trunk of the T. And left
Okay.
and right, there's an area. The area that you're
Okay.
pointing to there, to the right, only goes a short way and looks out on an arrow slit that looks down onto part of the courtyard. The other direction, to your left or south, goes about 20 feet and then turns a corner. It's a hallway.
Right. Epotus would go to look down, to look out of that arrow slit into the courtyard just to see if he sees anything in there.
You see a goat wandering around eating grass.
Is it Sangzor?
It appears to be Sangzor, yes.
Alright, Sangzor's still good.
So's one of the children. Sounds very happy.
Alright. Let's
Very good. You
come
go.
back and start heading down that other hall.
All right, you go 20 feet and you come to a curve. The hall again goes either side of you, east and west. You come to a dead end of the south corridor that you stepped into, but the hall now goes both east and west. To the west of you is an octagonal room that looks, the way it's equipped and the way there are like racks on the walls and things, you can tell that at one time it probably held crossbows and bolts and such things. It was a guard area to guard the corner of the castle. You're basically in a tower area designed for defense. It doesn't really go anywhere. It is just an octagonal guard room to the west. To the east, the corridor bends 90 degrees and goes quite a ways off into the dark. It is very dark down this corridor. All of the light is coming in from the arrow slits and things to the side and behind you. What source of light do you have?
I will do dancing lights and keep them following at least one following each of us.
And Sylvia, of course, would be able to see further than the others as she goes down this, and so would Dirok, although he's not here with us. The great nothing swallowed his computer as well. Looks like we're having all kinds of problems tonight. Epotus, when the light comes up, he can tell that this hallway goes quite a ways away from him. It's probably a good 30 feet, and you can just barely see in the light that probably there are some stairs that are going both up and down at the end of this hallway. Circular stairs again, which seems to be what the majority of these stairs are.
Yeah, I do have dark vision out to 120 feet.
I also have dark vision.
From what source, since Dragonborn don't have it?
Because I am corrupted by this land through 4 levels of Shadow Sorcerer.
Oh, okay. All right, so you would have easily been able to see this then.
Yeah. Okay, so there's stairs. Do they go up or do they go down?
Both.
All right. Okay, so we come to the stairs, and it's basically there's the stairs going up, stairs going down, and those are the only options.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I have something that I've had prepped, and it's rather intensive on my resources, but I can do it and to give us some direction. Should I try to target a dragon skull or should I try to target Monarch's coat?
Well, we've got him, the werewolf, and the dragon.
Yeah, we got
Take
the
a pick.
we got the dragon, the werewolf, and there's also potentially Monarch.
Yeah.
So I don't know of any item that the werewolf would be wearing. The skull itself is an object, and Monarch had a very particular coat. So which one should I try to get a read on? Now, it probably would be most likely to be Monarch, because I haven't actually seen the dragon skull. So do you want me to see if I can even tell if Monarch is still here?
I mean, that's not. I mean, if you want to burn that spell slot.
So up to us, otherwise we can go down and see. Presumably dungeons are downwards.
Yeah.
If we can let the werewolf out, he might be able to help us, or we could at least send him on his way. I feel like, didn't we get some sort of vision where the skull was like in the basement or something like that?
No,
Or did I just imagine that?
No, that was from some other thing, or you're remembering something else.
Okay.
You didn't get any particular instructions. You just know that the dragon skull is supposed to be as a trophy somewhere in the castle.
Okay. Have we? Oh. Oh no. Okay.
What are you thinking?
We've seen Strahd's coat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast Locate Object on Strahd's coat.
Okay.
You find the man currently naked.
We have him returned. Well, I'm waiting for the next one that will now be eaten by the Great Nothing. Obviously, Strahd is destroying you one by one.
All right, I'm hopping on the Roll20 now. Sorry about that. I don't like my computer. If there's no mouse movement or keystrokes or anything, after 2 minutes, it goes into like it just blacks out the screen, like sleep mode, or not sleep mode or hibernate, but like if there's no activity, the computer the screen just goes black until there is activity. It did that, and that's when it froze.
Good Lord.
So yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah, the computer gods are angry with us tonight. It's because I'm taking up all the extra power with all these computers I've got around me tonight.
Hey man, I sacrificed enough people to make sure my connection was good.
Yeah, so I cast a Locate Object targeting Strahd's Strahd, the cloak or coat or whatever he's got on.
You currently detect that he is moving down it's moving. And
it's moving and he's downwards?
Moving downwards, yeah. He is going from one area to another.
Alright, I know that he's going downwards if we can stay within a certain distance from him, unless he goes into a lit room. We got 10 minutes to get on the trail, so I'm going down.
I should probably ask what happened this whole time, because I was obviously gone for a while.
Yeah, we
found his hidden passage.
Yeah, there's a hidden passage below the organ, and then there's just a couple things. We saw Sangzor. Sangzor's fine. He's in the courtyard eating grass. Unless it was an illusion, in which case, whatever. Then Epotus cast Locate Object, targeting Strahd's outfit, basically. And
so that wasn't Strahd that we saw?
No, Epotus did Divine Sense, and there was no undead thing coming from him. So, shall we go down?
Might as well. He's not being a very gracious host, is he?
No, he's being kind of a dick.
Very well.
1 second.
You ready to go find him, Sword?
You get a feeling that the sword is more powerful than it used to be, as in its sentience. It is more aware because it seems to be like getting power from somewhere, and you get a very resounding feeling of it ready to go take on Strahd. And I appear to have lost that level. Where is it?
That's the boy.
There it is. All right. The 5 of you go down and down and down on this circular stair. You feel like you've probably dropped a good 40, 45 feet below where you were, so you are somewhere below ground. And you come out into a 5-foot corridor, narrow 5-foot corridor, that extends only 10 feet ahead of you before it L turns to the right. You come out of the stairs facing west, and the corridor L turns to the right or north.
Huh.
All right. And,
I'm gonna toss a.
which direction am I detecting him?
You are detecting him still slightly to the north and still down.
Okay. I'm still picking him up this direction.
Do you trust the hallway itself, or should we start looking for traps?
I'll leave that to you. But I've only got so much time before this expires. Probably I'm about halfway through the duration of it already.
All right. So what should I roll to start looking for any weirdly obvious traps or I'm just looking for anything that might be triggered if we step on it type deal.
All right. You have thieves' tools, or are you just doing a straight observation roll?
I have thieves tools, but I'm primarily doing an observation to see if I need to even use them.
Okay, give me a perception roll.
Damn.
You do not detect anything that truly looks like a trap, but some of these old bricks in the floor look as if they are ready to crumble and give way, and so probably they need care as you are walking through these hallways.
Well, tread carefully.
All right. And POTUS does so. He'll walk forward, and with each step, he'll like tap a toe, apply a little pressure while still keeping most of his weight on the back foot. Just like push down on some stones.
With that care, you are able to make it to the corner of the hallway, and you can look around. Are you trying to be slightly stealthy, or are you just, you know? I know you're in plate, but
6'7",
yeah,
golden faded dragonborn in plate. No, clank, clonk, clank, clonk.
you come to the L bend. There is a 20-foot long hallway that extends north of you to a door. There is an opening about halfway up this corridor on your left, or back to the west again. You've been heading west. The corridor goes north, and back to the west again is an opening without a door. It is just an archway opening to the west.
It's just the archway opening to the west.
Yeah, an archway opening to the west
Oh.
and a door at the end of the hall to the north.
All right. Where am I picking up Strahd? This is probably the last bit before it fades away because it only lasts for 10 minutes.
Still to the north and down.
All right. We're heading to the west if that's the only option. But he's going to keep in mind that he's like north and down ish.
Right.
Like probably not like, oh, he's north, but like he's this direction, and he's trying to like keep an eye on like where that is.
Yeah, he's kind of that way, and you can feel him, sense him, that he's in more of the interior of the castle, but a lower floor than where you are.
Yeah. All right, he's still down, so let's just keep going, I guess.
When Apotus comes to the opening, he can see to the west there are 10, I will use the term cells, but these are not cells like prisoner cells. These are like sleeping cells, and you can vaguely see the edge of some cots and some old rusty equipment like a rusty shield and a few things laying in the dust and cobwebs of the first pair of rooms either side of this hallway. Basically, it's a hallway going west, open hallway going west with 5 of these cells on the north side and 5 of them on the south side with cots apparently in each one of these. You can also slightly, the angle of viewing is hard for you, but you can slightly see that there is something laying on the nearest 2 cots. You can't see what's inside the further cells.
I'm gonna do another detect undead or detect divine sense.
And you pick up 10 forms, which appear to be reclining.
All right, Victor, you're gonna want to keep a bit of distance from me.
Victor will back off.
And as he does,
And light appears, and there was light. So are you stepping into the corridor?
shit, yeah.
Okay, so you start moving west, and nothing seems to be happening. If you keep moving west, are you? Continue along this
Yeah.
corridor. When you get to the midpoint of this hall, there is suddenly clanking and shifting of armaments and gear, and you can see from several cells that you are able to visualize, you are able to see that skeletons are rising from all of these cots. 1 second. Identify where the actual... Ah, there we are. Okay. And this is where we will leave it for tonight.
He's just like.
Time to murder everything.
You are
Epotus looks like he's just so ready.
There is a POTUS.
around the corner
see him
from
on the
you.
map.
You've got to move forward.
Oh, he's
You're in
further ahead.
You're in a battle map for this round, and you
Yeah,
have.
I can't see anything, but
Yeah, let me hold on. I forgot to. I've got to change your permanent token, or I've got to change it each time. So let me change this one to the proper.
yeah, Epotus is just so ready. He looks. Anybody with dark vision is just. He just looks so ready to just annihilate something.
Yeah, I would have been following close to POTUS, so I'll be right there.
And I assume Sylvia's continuing to have dancing lights for those who don't have light sense.
No, I think everyone's
Except
I think
Argyle,
everyone
let's screw
has.
that guy.
Aragel can't.
Was he still following us?
Yes, he's remaining with you.
Oh. Then I'll probably just make it circle his head dead just to annoy the crap out of him.
Okay. I'll put it at a 40-foot radius that can be seen. I'll just assume it's like regular candlelight or whatever.
Yeah, it's like regular candlelight, and it's like just circling above his head, like you know how kind of like in the cartoons, how like when a person gets like concussed, how just like little stars go around his head, like
Right.
that.
Very good. All right. So from these cots, let me actually pull them onto the scene that you will see, so you can tell what you've got before we end. But you'll also see a couple of numbers pop up here, because when I go to the GM layer, it'll pull everything forward. But ignore the magical numbers that have appeared in the hallway. But there you are. For the viewers, I'll get this down to what they would see so they can see the hallway as well. And there we are. This is what we will leave. We have a battle with skeletons when we take up next week. We will not be here next week. We will be skipping next week because it is Father's Day, and I have not one but 3 fathers involved in some present giving, and a big present to give to the patriarch of the clan. So we're having quite a Father's Day. So I will be skipping next week. I might play a rerun of the episode where Vlad was discovered to be Sergei in place of the actual game night. So we might possibly have that. So we will be back here in 2 weeks to pick up where we are. So enjoy your Father's Day. And do you have any of you have anything to add, including for Are You Sure?
Yeah, as far as I know, for Are You Sure, I don't have any plans to cancel Saturday, because Father's Day is a self-contained holiday. And the only thing is, on the 6th of July, we will be likely off, but I will have more information as we get closer.
Yeah, we will definitely be off for 4th of July weekend as well. And then we will be moving up on and the 17th of July, I will have ankle surgery. I think I will be back and ready to go after that, but I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. So there are a few gaps in what we're doing, and as soon as we are finished with Ravenloft, we'll be going into our Waterdeep campaign. So we will see what happens. All right. Next week, or 2 weeks, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you then on Curse of Strahd and Crone's Crucible. Start your own game this month. You don't have to wait for us. It's fun to play. Good night.